We want to talk with you about the books that feed your imagination and the vices that spark your soul.
We drink, we curse, we read things. Come sit by us. Expect no judgment, just good times.
Welcome to Paper and Vices. Books reviewed, vices indulged.
Mature content warning.
Yay, we can say the bad words now. So I'm sober this week, which is not my favorite, as I slam my coffee cup down on my desk.
God damn it, there's no liquor in this.
There's no liquor. I hurt my shoulder, and so I'm on not fun pain medication, but like enough Advil and not fun muscle relaxers that if you also had alcohol, your liver would just vacate your body doing donuts with middle fingers in the air. So you can't mix.
That is quite the visual.
Yeah. Just, fuck you, I'm done. I tried. God, you make bad choices. My doctor looked at me and she's like, no gummies, no wine, no alcohol until the drugs are done. I'm like, oh okay.
Man. Which at that point, I bet it was kind of like, oh, you're my favorite person because you're giving me drugs to take away my pain. And then, oh, I hate you because you're taking away all my good things.
My primary care doctor is awesome. But yeah, she's like, I'm sorry, these aren't going to be as fun as CBD gummies and booze, but you need them to get better. Sorry. Because I told her when I went to see her, I'm like, so plan B, if you don't think I need muscle relaxers, is to just get really drunk a few nights in a row until my body's all loosey-goosey. And she's like, no, don't do that. That's a bad plan. This is not medieval medicine. Take the drugs. The prescribed ones. I'm like, you make valid, rational points. You who went to doctor school for nearly a decade.
It sounded like you're basically threatening your primary care. You're like, I will take drugs and lots of alcohol if you don't fix me. So
no, we just have a really good relationship and she understands how I am.
That's amazing.
I was supposed to do a video visit and their software broke and no one in the entire network knew until I tried to log on for my appointment and I couldn't.
Oh.
And so I went in later that afternoon and she told me when I got there, she's like, I was standing over them on the phone, like whisper hissing at them, you get her in here. She has a kid. She has to function.
Oh my God.
Like, you're amazing. I love you so much.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You should keep
She's
that
really
doctor.
cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
Although if she's ever not my doctor anymore, we've agreed to become outside of doctorhood friends, which you kind of can't do now. So either way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Because when I first lived here, I got really, really sick and seeing her like every week. And at one point I joked, I'm like, I think you're my best friend because I've seen you more than anybody else up here. She's like, I think you're funny, so that's fine.
Oh,
so
man.
what I'm drinking is a decaf oat milk latte. Which I don't even know if I get to call it a latte, but it's warm.
Comfort. That's
good.
It's
It's warm and comforting. I could have made tea. And I didn't realize that until I was putting the second shot in my latte, and I was like, well,
Now you're
bad.
stuck with a latte.
Yeah, darn.
I
An espresso machine is dangerous.
Yeah, no, I really want one, but I don't, because I know that, I don't know. I might get one. I miss tea. Like, I'm not a huge tea drinker, but, like, there's been a couple times, like, recently where I'm like, I want tea, and nothing in my cabinet is, like, good for me to drink right now. So, because I'm still nursing, so, like, I can't drink any of it, but
Does it all have peppermint or something in it?
I guess peppermint is technically okay, but it's all, like, the really weird herbal shit that it's like, you shouldn't drink this. Which I think is really weird to me, because I'm like, now, I know that I am drinking alcohol, but I am also not going to feed her for a while. But, like, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I should be able to drink tea and be fine. But, like, you read the Google people, the masters of Google, and they're like, don't drink this because everything will, go to shit or something. I don't know. But, so no tea.
I wonder if either the herbs stay in your system longer.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's just we're very fucking dumb as a culture, as we may have all learned in the last 12 months. And so people understand you're drunk, you can't boob feed, but people might not understand you had weird hippie tea, you can't boob feed.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Yeah, because you figure, like, tea, you could, like, it's not a big deal. But, I don't know. I am helping Victoria with with her sobriety tonight. It's funny because I didn't know that she was not drinking until I got here, and I happened to have 2 drinks because there's a reason behind this, a very valid reason. I recently got a hold of so old fashions are like my favoriteest drinks in the world. And I found it's like a little sugar cube that has the bitters infused in it. So, yeah, so you take it and then your shot of whiskey or 5, and then you chop it up and then, like, you put a big chunk of ice cube in there and then you have an old fashioned.
That's
so,
fancy.
yeah, and I have to say that I didn't realize how big of a deal having the big cube, like, it's a big deal to the drink. Like, I'm like, it's an ice cube, but it makes a big difference. So I'm like, I poured it and I'm like, this is kind of disappointing. And then, so I had to pour another drink because I was not sure that I would like this drink. So that's why I have 2 drinks. And that was a very long story. And I said like a lot. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm thinking, like, is this, as I say, like, again, look, we were raised in the 90s. Lower your expectations. I'm thinking, is this what recording for her was like all summer until she fucking gave birth? Oh my God. I was so drunk and she was so dry.
Capri Suns really help, though. I mean, they're so good.
My husband still has Halloween Capri Suns in the fridge.
Ooh.
I don't know how that's relevant to anything, but, like, we were up here, like, having a very serious conversation the other day, and I turn around and look at him, and he's got a juice pouch, and he's holding it, like, right up to his mouth, sucking on the straw, and I'm like, it's just broke.
Juice boxes. So good.
So we've established what we're drinking. There's an order of events here, I'll remember. What are you reading?
Nothing and Everything.
Everything and Nothing.
Exactly.
It's one of my favorite scents by Tokyo Milk Dark. Anyway.
Last time I mentioned there's that book, The Love Curse of Melody Maguire. Mm-hmm. And I got it in one of the book boxes, which we're talking about tonight. There's a little teaser there. Which I'm sure you didn't get from the title of the episode, I'm sure.
Or the links that we've included in the episode description.
You had no idea what we're talking about, and I just totally blew our cover. But anyway, so I finished it. It was exactly what I needed because I needed like something like super chill and slightly predictable, which I think I talked about before. Got exactly what I wanted and needed from it. And as a bonus, there's these like 2 or 3 solid chapters like in the middle that are 100% dialogue. And I loved how it moved the story forward. And I was like, this is fucking fantastic dialogue. And it just really stood out to me as this amazing part in the middle of the book. Like the whole book was good, but like those chapters stood out.
One of those things we really have in common. We are both like dialogue sluts. Like, you just give me good pages of dialogue and I'm like, oh hell yeah, I am here for this character development.
Yes.
You speak your truth, bitch.
Yeah. So I just finished that, and then I'm kind of not sure what to read next. So like the past 2 days I'll like pick up a book, I'll read a couple pages, and I'll be like, what do I want to get stuck on now? Because I've got like 3 unfinished books on my nightstand, and you're going to laugh at me. I discovered that Kindle has an app on my iPhone, which is like, cool.
I'm not going to laugh at you. I'm going to be flabbergasted because I literally put this in a blog that you edited last year. I have talked about it on the podcast while you were looking at my face.
I thought that was just your phone. I didn't know my phone did the same thing.
You weren't even drunk last year, dude. What the fuck?
I know, it was probably just laziness on my part. And then, like, I downloaded, like, a book code, and it, like, sent me to Kindle, and I was like, oh, there's an app. It's just like, I'm like, I know this. Like, in my head, I'm like, I know this. But for some reason, I just now downloaded it. And one of the big reasons I don't like Kindle is they don't have, like on my old busted version, it doesn't have color or the book picture. And that's a big deal to me. Even though, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not reading picture books, but the cover is important. But now,
people
like,
spend a lot of time, effort, and money on covers, and I'm a hardcore paperwhite person, and I probably always will be.
yeah.
And so, like, when I only get a book digitally, it's like, I know that they had, like, meetings and photo shoots and shit about this cover. I don't care. So I'm glad there's people like you who appreciate it.
I need the cover. I want to see
Yeah.
the colors. So, but yeah, so I was all excited. It was like a little nerd moment. I was like, oh my god, there's covers. So anyway, all that to say, I downloaded The Chemist all the way back when we did the Stephanie Meyer special on that book.
Midnight Sun.
Yes, thank you. That one. So yeah. So I'm reading like 4 books. I'm not sure. I don't know. I know what I'll be reading next week, but not this week. So, but anyway, what about you? What are you reading?
I finished my reread of the entire freaking Court of Thorn and Roses series because I did it backwards. I started a couple months ago with a Court of Frost and Starlight, and we had that whole conversation about how we have different opinions of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just finished I don't remember what they're called individually. It's all A Court of Thorn and Roses. I read them in sequential order. I just finished reading the last one of the main trilogy, and that scene where Cassian thinks he's dying and he's talking to Nesta. I just fucking can't. He's all like, my one regret is that we didn't have the time. I will find you in the next world and we will have the time. And then she decapitates the motherfucking king of Hybern. Hey, spoilers. I can't. And then they weren't leaked. They were put up on Apple Books, and then 10 minutes later were on Reddit. I read the first 6 chapters of A Court of Silver Flames. And so going from just the rawness of that moment in the war with Hybern, and like Nesta starting to step into her power, and then remembering what happened in A Court of Frost and Starlight, and then reading the first 6 chapters of A Court of Silver Flames, I'm having a really hard time getting into anything else, which is terrible because this will be released. I don't know when this episode's going to be released. But I think it's actually going to be released after we do the Court of Silver Flames special. I'm not entirely sure, but I've still got like 4 days until the book gets here. And so I know I can finish a whole book in 4 days. I know if I went and picked up Crescent City right now, I could finish it in 4 days. I'm just having a really hard time this year with my book hangovers.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that there's Ruby Dixon released a novella. I think it's one of her short ones last month that I didn't read. And like, you know, Blue Alien Dick is a great palate cleanser.
Oh, that's that lady.
Yeah, that's that lady.
Yeah.
She also does Dragon Shifter Dick, to be fair.
Which is better? Which dick is better?
Oh, Alien Dick for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
I like the setup of that world better. Like it's not just like alien erotica. There's storylines and world building. Like it's legit sci-fi. If you took out the sex scenes, it would still be sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like 4 or 5 different novel sets within the same world. Same universe, I should say. So anyway, she put out a new one, so I might go read that tonight. I'm like 10 pages into spoiler alert, which is really good so far, like really good. However, it is a physical book,
Mm-hmm.
And when I go to bed to read a physical book, I have to leave the light on, which keeps my husband awake. And trying to read it while the sun is up, or it would be normal to have the light on, doesn't work because
Mm-hmm.
I procreated, and at the time this seemed like a really good idea. But what happened was that my reading time is severely impacted.
The things they don't tell you about procreation.
Right?
Fuckers.
So, yeah. So I'm probably gonna devour Ruby Dixon within the next 2 days, and then we'll see.
Yeah. I feel like we're both
But
just kind of sitting around twiddling our thumbs.
very
Although
much.
I
But
I
we were
did.
doing this before Midnight Sun too.
This is true. Yeah. Although I don't know. I mean, Midnight Sun was cool and I love me some Twilight, but this I'm more excited about. But I will, however, be a lot more excited about Crescent City sequel.
That's November.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh
gonna
my
be.
god.
So we're probably gonna record ahead episodes for November and December. Spoiler alert, like our lives get crazy busy. The Crescent City sequel is probably going to be the one thing we record in November.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, let me just like, can you imagine having two huge book releases in one year? Like, Sarah J.
I
Maas is a
mean,
fucking badass. That's
yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine it, but it's up there with like winning the lottery.
Yeah. But
Yeah. I mean, she works really hard, obviously, and she's studied a lot of history and a lot of mythos, and she's obviously honed her craft. So it's not that she got lucky and won the lottery. Like
mm-mm.
she's very serious about her craft and what she does. I don't mean to make it sound like that. I just like it seems that improbable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um but yeah, it's going to be I think a good year for book releases. We already had Blood Air, which I was actually looking forward to more than A Court of Silver Flames, but that's not as big on a global scale.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
there are uh a total of like 15 books in the Kate Daniels world to read before you get to Blood Air. So I wasn't wanting for reading material.
Yeah. No, that's
And I
true.
don't really, I mean, I could probably finish Crescent City in 4 days. I don't know that I want a big emotional gut punch before a big emotional gut punch.
Mm-hmm. I feel
Like,
like that's a wise choice. Yeah.
yeah,
Stick with the dick.
yeah, yeah. Because there will be no dick in A Court of Silver Flames.
True. None whatsoever, I'm sure.
Great winged warrior dick. Um,
No, no.
so
Speaking of
yeah.
dick, what are your vices this week?
uh Flexeril. So remember I talk about Shannon Mayer a lot because she's another one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Last year she did a box for her Midlife Bounty Hunter series, which I'm a big fan of. And one of the things she included in it, because it's like, it's not a running joke, it's a running theme in the book. The woman's like in her 40s, and she's running around chasing bad guys. Her muscles get sore. Is that she needs muscle rubs and Advil. So one of the things included in the box was this thing called Nature's Oil Muscle Balm.
Ooh.
And it has been my constant companion because icy hot burns. Like I
Yeah, it does.
understand that's the point, but it sucks and it screws with my skin texture after a while. Doesn't. And it kind of smells like an old lady, but it also kind of smells like old lady menthol mixed with cinnamon pine cones at Christmas. So I'm good with it.
That is a weird concoction of smells.
But it's not icy hot. So
that is true.
I
Fair
am
point.
down. But I think my real vice this week is that I cashed in all of my points from Ulta that I've been saving for like the last year and a half. Nope. Crystal
Nope.
still has nope
No,
face.
you're glitching. I can hear you're fine now. Go ahead and speak. Ew.
Hey, I didn't lick his beard.
It's fair.
All right, we'll give that a shot.
Okay.
Okay. But I think what qualifies as my real vice this week is I cashed in most of my reward points from Ulta that I've been collecting for the last year and a half. And
Nice.
so I got, and they were having a sale. Like, if you spend so much money on Essie nail polish, you get a free thing. So I got a new eyeshadow brush. I got a new highlighter. I got one of those. Sorry if this is overshare. Look, I haven't had a pedicure since before COVID. So I got one of those electronic foot buffer things.
Ooh,
Because I've been
that's
like,
nice.
like I've had a petty stone, but it's actual elbow grease, and I don't want to do that. I can charge this one. Um, and I ended up doing. Essie has this gel line that's supposedly no UV light gel, and it's a two-step. It's the color and then a special magic top coat.
Hmm.
Who the fuck knows if it'll work? But I got 3 colors and the top coat, and then because they were running the special, I got their strengthening stuff and their apricot nail and cuticle oil. And so at some point over this weekend, and I got an Aveeno hand mask. At some point again, I'm gonna sit down and give myself a petty. Be super shocked. All the nail polishes are shades of purple.
Yay!
Yep.
Oh, those are pretty.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, makeup and drugs, but not fun drugs and muscle rub. 35-year-old lady. What about you?
Yeah, I think I was talking about my cubed bitters.
That's your
So,
vice for this week, officially?
I think so. Because it's hitting. I'm like, that's actually maybe not that bad.
Nice.
Like, I think I just need to let it sit a little bit longer. But, it's interesting, like, you're talking about makeup and stuff. I actually just recently cleaned out my makeup kit, because a lot of it was old. And,
We both did it within 2 days of each other.
Yes. So I got boring stuff like foundation and concealer and just stuff I needed to complete my makeup routine. So I don't really consider, I don't know. I guess it's considered a vice. Nope. I don't know. Pretty glittery eyeshadows is where it's at and nice eyeliners, but you do need the foundation, or I need the foundation and stuff. So I'm like, all right, I need this. So.
Oh no, I'm totally there with you. Although I've kind of gotten to the point where, like, from my lips down, I don't care as much. Like, I blend it in, but like if I have a zit on my chin, I'm not gonna extra conceal that shit. No point.
You're like, yeah, I'm good. This is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking at all my lipsticks like, I miss you, baby. Yeah.
Yeah. One day.
And then tonight we are finally, like 15 minutes in, talking about what has become one of our favorite vices over the last year, and that is book boxes.
Doo-doo-doo. They're fucking amazing.
They are. And so, I think we have 1 or 2 we've overlapped, but mostly we've ordered different ones. And we have more coming. We have a few reviews on the blog already of individual boxes. But what I wish, when I had started looking at book boxes, what I could have found instead of a review of individual boxes is like an overview of the major ones, of what you liked and what you didn't, and which smaller ones, because there's a lot of smaller ones that are really good, were worth the money. Because everyone talks about Owl Crate and Fairy Loot and Illumicrate, and I have gotten those. I am still subscribed to some of them. I have opinions. But there's some smaller boxes that we're going to talk about that we really like, that it's like, I had to search to find these guys.
Yeah, but they're magical.
Indeed.
I didn't even really get into it until, I don't know, I was always really scared about book boxes because they're overwhelming in a way, because there's just, 1, there's so many of them, and then 2, it's, I don't know. It's almost like, do I want to spend this money? Like you mentioned, like which ones are worth it and which ones are not. So, I don't know.
I think it's a little bit much because it's kind of like gambling. And some of them are definitely geared towards new adult, and some of them are definitely young adult, and it's kind of a toss up. Um, we have subbed to different ones. I subbed to Owl Crate, Fairy Loot, and Illumicrate all at the same time last August. I think those are like the three big ones when you think book boxes. Those are the ones that come up the most.
Mm-hmm.
And I have very definite opinions on them. Because I want you to know, like, if you're considering getting a book box for yourself, or like a 3-month subscription for a gift is a really great thing. Like, if you have a friend in your life who reads, or a young adult who's just coming into reading, these are really great things. And it really, what I love about our generation, the millennials, being in power now, is that nerd culture, what you used to get made fun of for, like reading all the time, Dungeons and Dragons, all that kind of shit, it's mainstream culture now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are not a nerd if you have an original Captain America comic in mint condition. You're the coolest kid in school. And so I enjoy the aspect that being a book nerd is now very celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
And diving into your fandoms, I think, is always good. So Owl Crate, I would say, it's probably not. Someone's going to come in the comments and correct me. I think Owl Crate, I think of it as like the OG book box. I have found myself the last few months skipping them more and more, and I will probably be unsubscribing from them. Not because I don't like them, but because there are other ones I would rather be subscribed to, and because everyone and their brother and their mom does an Owl Crate unboxing and review. Their stuff is... The stuff they include is hit or miss. They do include a pin every month. The pin designs are hit or miss. Some of them, and I think it was either Owl Crate or Fairy Loot that's changing it up and doing one artist for the whole year this year. And I know not everybody's gonna like everything, and that's kind of like the gamble you take. Eventually there's going to be a box that you get that you're just like, I don't like this book, I don't like this mug, this is not any of my fandoms, this is stupid, what is this crap? And so that, like, if you're subscribed to a book box for a year, you're going to run into that. Owl Crate, I found, for me, being 35, having a house full of a child's crap already, I found some of the stuff that came with Owl Crate eventually to just be a bit much. Now, that could be because I had Owl Crate and Fairy Loot and Illumicrate all coming at the same time. So I'm still subbed to Owl Crate, but I find myself skipping at least every other month, either because I'm not super excited about the books, or because somebody else is doing a book box with the same books, or there are just other books I'd rather spend my money on. They are, I consider them to be a good middle of the road benchmark, though. Like, some of their stuff is very obviously stuff that they bought in bulk, personalized on Alibaba. You're not going to find that in every book box, but you're going to find it in a lot of them. And then their special editions, in my opinion, and everyone's different, are not as good as Fairy Loot's. So Owl Crate and Fairy Loot, and I think Illumicrate, try to have their books signed and do a special edition of the book every month.
Yeah, Lovejoy does that too.
Yeah, Owl Crate's special editions are so-so. Fairy Loot was the first one I unsubbed from, and it's not because of the contents of the box. Their special editions are absolutely my favorite. Like, the single most beautiful book I have gotten in the last year, and Lee has seen my receipts, I've gotten many books, is Kingdom of the Wicked from Fairy Loot. The edges are stenciled. The cover is a special edition dust jacket, but then when you take it off, the silvering on the actual cover is special edition. The artwork that came with it is hanging up in my office because it's just got his gold tattoo on full display all the way up his shoulder. Ooh. And it's amazing. And if you go on like Mercai, where a lot of people resell their book box stuff, I just give mine to Lee that I don't use. If you go on Mercai, the book is selling for like $200. And, I get it. It's hard to find and it's beautiful. But Fairy Loot, in my experience, has the worst customer service and the most screw ups.
Really?
It is like February. So one thing you have to learn with book boxes is that something's always going to be late. Your book box for that month is rarely, if ever, going to show up in that month. The only 2 boxes that has ever happened for me are Illumicrate and Owl Crate. Usually it's the first few days to the first 2 weeks of the next month. And this has to do with the fact that they're getting a book, a special edition of a book, artwork, prints, and 5 to 7 items from various different places shipped in, packaged, and boxed. I get that. Fairy Loot is religiously late. And I understand that, like, COVID has made everything late. That's fine. But they got to the point, and this is when I canceled, when they were blaming everything being late on COVID. And then when I emailed them and I was like, hey, what exactly is going on? When can I expect my box? I understand COVID. They were like, oh, no, it's not really COVID. They didn't actually say it's not really COVID, but they were like, no, it's this completely different reason. And we just didn't give ourselves enough time to get all the stuff in, basically. I regularly had boxes that were missing things. I am still waiting because Fairy Loot has this thing where they include 2 tarot cards in every box. Cool. I was missing tarot cards in like my July box. I don't know where they are. They supposedly sent them to me 3 times. Or no, they've said they were going to send them to me 3 times and they haven't. And it's like, I never got a tracking number or anything. So like the package hasn't left their warehouse that I am aware of. At the end of November, when I received my October box.
Holy shit, that's really late. That's really late.
Yeah, one of the items was a set of salt and pepper shakers, which, first of all, the fuck, I don't want Kingdom of the Wicked salt and pepper shakers. I'm sorry, salt and pepper shakers could be really cool, and I understand that, like, in the book, the girl was a cook, so I kind of get it. But it was weird. I would rather have a shot glass, but again, I'm 35. I'm a little bit out of their target demographic. If we ever do a book box, it's gonna be 21 and over, and then there will be I guess if you're under 21, we'll do like 5 of these on the side where you can have salt and pepper shakers instead of shot glasses. But my salt and pepper shakers arrived broken. I emailed them a few days later. I just sent like my 4th email asking them, hey, where are my salt and pepper shakers at? And they respond every time going, can you please verify your address? Oh, I'll get those sent out to you. So, and there was this issue if you are in any of the book box groups that they do a lot of special edition things, special edition books, special edition boxes, mostly individual books, which again are beautiful. In my opinion, Fairy Loot has the prettiest books. They were packaged for crap and they were arriving to people damaged, and they were giving people a hard time about replacing them or taking months and months to replace them. If I am paying you $35 for a special edition book, wrap it in bubble wrap in both directions. Yeah. This is not rocket science. And it like, people were showing photos and I am just like, how are you not in your warehouse setting people on fire? This is not proper customer service. This is bad from the ground up. And they had so many problems that they started kind of being vague about it, which problems happen. I get it. Totally. One of my favorite boxes, the librarian boxes, is having a delay right now for their January box because there was a humidity issue with their books. But they're super transparent about it, and they're not just vaguely like, oh, COVID, when it's really like, no, you screwed up, dude. You just screwed up. Like, COVID didn't make you not use bubble wrap, Fairy Loot. They didn't. And I just got so frustrated with like stuff missing. The one box I got from them in the August, September, October, November, December. In the 6 months I was just, or no, I started getting Fairy Loot in June. In the 7 months I was subscribed to Fairy Loot, the one box that I got that was on time, nothing was broken and nothing was missing. One was the same book that Owl Crate had that month, and I liked Owl Crate's version better.
Ugh.
And here's the thing. If you're getting Owl Crate and Fairy Loot and Illumicrate, the three big ones, you will have overlap. You will have, I would say at least from what I've observed, 3 times a year, they will have the same book, or they will have the same book within a month of each other. Like for January, or maybe it was January for Owl Crate and February for Fairy Loot. No, it was January. They had the same book. Lore.
Yeah.
And I got the Owl Crate one, and the Owl Crate was pretty good. I don't know if I put pictures of it up yet. I really enjoyed the Owl Crate for that. It was great. I would tell you what's in the Fairy Loot box, but it is February 11th when we're recording, and most people don't have the January Fairy Loot box yet.
Oh, Jesus.
Some of their special editions are taking months and months to go out. So here's the deal with Fairy Loot. They have the prettiest books. If they ever offer a book-only subscription, book only, I will re-up it and I will give them another 5-month chance because their books are that pretty. I'm really, as much as I read on my Kindle, I'm really into having good shelf pieces. My husband and I are both like that. I will not pay them money for a full box and trust them to get it to me anymore, though.
Yeah.
So that's why, and so when people are like, what should I spend my money on, Fairy Loot or Owl Crate? I'm like, yeah, they have some really good stuff, but it's 50-50 if you're going to get all of it intact, or... Yeah. Illumicrate is awesome. They come from the UK. They're kind of expensive. I have had them since August, and I am not unsubscribing from them yet.
Yeah.
Take that as you will.
Yeah.
I really like them. I have had one box from them. One where I didn't love anything in it, and it was just kind of meh. Which out of 7-8 months of boxes, getting one that's kind of meh, that's really, really good. That's really good.
Yeah.
No. I also feel like Illumicrate, and this could just be my personal take on it, they tend to veer harder into new adult rather than young adult, which I prefer. So out of Owl Crate, Fairy Loot, and Illumicrate, Illumicrate's the only one I'm still subscribed to. I've ordered a couple of special editions from Illumicrate. I ordered a special edition box for Addie LaRue from Owl Crate. It was a good box. I liked it. I found it to be worth the value. One of the things in it I didn't want, so I sold it to someone in a private group, and it was fine. Like, I don't buy boxes to resell things, but if I'm not going to use this, and you're really sad that you didn't get the box because you wanted that one item, this is where the free market is useful.
Yes.
In this instance. So, yeah, that's kind of my take on the main big 3. I'm probably going to cancel Owl Crate. I may do Owl Crate Junior later this year for my kid. But after getting Owl Crate for so long, it's just not special anymore, especially compared to what some of the indie boxes, they're not indie, the smaller boxes are doing, and some of the stuff Illumicrate puts out. And I think Owl Crate is a really good introductory box, and if I was 21, I'd probably like it a lot better than I do at 35.
That's fair. Yeah. And I guess, like, it's interesting that you're talking a lot about, I was talking about the Love Curse book, and I was talking about the Love Curse book, and the big thing I noticed about that one is that while I was reading it, I noticed that the characters' dads were in, so it's all based around theater, which I don't think is a big spoiler. But her parents were also in theater, and she's talking about how in their theater days they wore black eyeliner and smoked cloves, And I had this moment where I was like,
That's
fuck,
us.
that's my
That's
generation.
me. That me. It me.
So I felt old. And then I thought about it, and I was like, well, I am reading teen fiction, so, you know.
Can we just take a minute to say what a shit show it is that the lines between new adult, which is a adult, but it's people in their 20s, not their 30s, and young adult has been blurred because people just go for the young adult, which technically falls under children's. Like, if I remember correctly, and I could be wrong, Court of Thorn and Roses, the OG series, is not new adult, which is supposed to have some explicit sexual situations. It's young adult, like straight young adult, like supposed to be suitable for teenagers. Like, he spreads her legs and eats her for lunch in graphic detail on the kitchen table, which is
couple times, I'm sure.
But that is not appropriate for a 13-year-old.
No.
Like, really? And, like, no shade if you let your 13-year-old, or if you are a 13-year-old and you read whatever, but, like, in general, this should not be under the children's section in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
But they talk about it, and Moss tried to market it as new adult. And this, like, there aren't enough sales in new adult. New adult was or is an emerging genre, and blah, 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 blah. So, like, something that's totally inappropriate, wildly inappropriate for young adult, totally appropriate for new adult or just adult, got thrown into the wrong category. And so these lines are, like, completely blurred.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with overlap, but there's some overlap where there shouldn't be.
I agree. Yeah. Probably right about where the legs are spread. So.
Yeah. Like, I'm not even saying teenagers shouldn't read books with sex in them. Like, by the time you're 15 or 16, you probably know what sex is, but it shouldn't be any more graphic than you would be allowed to view on a television without your parents getting arrested.
Fair.
Like, fair? Fair.
Shouldn't be in your face.
Right. You do not need to know dick size and veininess before you're 18. There's the line. And I think Moss did this really well in Throne of Glass, by the way. And it's the first or second Throne of Glass book where the main character sleeps with the first guy she sleeps with in the series. It made it obvious what they were doing, but there was not paints being thrown to the floor as he ravaged her on the table. This is different. Yeah.
Slightly different. But yeah. No, I think that it's interesting to see how the book boxes are themed, based around just how muddled the waters have gotten with the whole young adult / new adult categories, because I definitely notice a different vibe with each of the boxes. So I've done Lit Joy, and I've done Fake Rate, and I've only gotten one of each of those. Fake Rate was a one-off, because they weren't doing subscriptions at that point, or I missed the subscription mark off or whatever. For Lit Joy, they're quarterly. They say they're monthly, so this is part of this is a complaint I quote unquote I have for Lit Joy. I really enjoyed their box, but if you look at my receipt, it says monthly. So I was fully expecting another box the next month, and then it never showed up. And then I went into my account, and it was like, it said quarterly. So I was very confused about that. But
I feel like they may have just changed that, but I feel like when you make a big change like that, it should be very obvious and clear and shouted from the rooftops everywhere, which it definitely wasn't.
Yeah. I went ahead and ordered the magical box, because the cool thing about LitJoy is they have a young adult one, and then they also have a magical one, which is all Harry Potter themed, and then they also have a classics, one that looks
I've
pretty
considered
cool.
their classics one. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the covers are really pretty, from what I've seen so far. But I don't know. We'll see. That's all coming, and those reviews will be up on the blog once they come in. But one thing I really noticed, there's actually another book box that we've both gotten. Oh my god. There's actually another book box that we've both subscribed to, the Caffeine and Legends one. And
We've both gotten that a couple times at this point.
Yeah. What I really like about them is there's just a general, more adulty vibe to it.
Yeah, they're not young adult.
They're not young adult. The books are, I want to say darker. I don't know if that's really the right word, but...
No, like the first book I got from them had a pile of skulls on the cover.
Yes.
I think it's definitely... it's definitely darker, and it's definitely for people who enjoy... I would say it's for people who enjoy sci-fi and fantasy in our generation as it was growing up. Like people who have read Wheel of Time, people who have read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, people who have read A Picture of Dorian Gray, people who have read Anne McCaffrey. Like if Caffeine and Legends did an Anne McCaffrey special edition box, it would be totally in line in vibe for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I really enjoy that because like it's an adult box for adults. And that
Yeah.
not in a sexual way, just in a this is not Raven Boys. This is, you know,
The
aliens
characters'
and
dads
monsters
aren't
and...
from your generation. You know,
Right.
like...
Right. This is the dad smoking the
This is
cloves.
the dads, yes. Exactly. It is a little bit of a smaller box, which I know some people, I don't know, some people like all the stuff and all the little like hair scrunchies and kitchen utensils and stuff. But what I really like about their box is that they're usually kitchen themed. Like I have a cool little coconut bowl, which is now holding my...
Oh, yeah, I didn't get that
Yeah.
month and I'm jealous now.
It's-
That
it-
coconut bowl is cool.
It is really cool. It's hard to know how to use it though. So right now it's holding a bag of M&Ms. I'm pretty
I
sure
don't see what's hard about that. It can just stay there that way.
But I would feel weird eating cereal out of it because I feel like it shouldn't get that wet. But
When you have a desk, you can put desk things on it.
this is true.
You can have
One
desk
day.
M&Ms.
I can. They wouldn't last very long though. Be sad.
Lee and I are incredibly different in how we work. Like, I can sort of do some work on my laptop-ish, but it's not gonna happen. But if I settle into my organized chaos of my office and my two screens, I can rip through stuff. Whereas Lee gets her best work done when there's 15 things going on in the background and she's leaning on the kitchen counter with one hip with her laptop open. When she gets an office, I'm just gonna send her like 50 million pieces of fan art and be like, decorate!
That's the reason I'm most excited about getting an office. It's just places.
Oh, I got that
artwork.
quarter thorn and roses tapestry in this week. Anyway, I digress. Yes. I have no place to hang it in my office, but I have it.
For your she shed in the future.
My future she shed. What I really like about Caffeine and Legends is that it's not a huge box. Like, not only do I know that I'm going to get a book I like, the first box I got, and I don't remember the name of the book, but it was the first one is the one we got that overlapped. It's a book.
Outpost?
Yes, Outpost. It's a book that my husband and I have a lot of overlap, but not complete overlap. Like, he's not picking up A Court of Thorn and Roses anytime ever. But after hearing me fangirl and foam at the mouth for years, he's picked up Ilona Andrews stuff. And so I like when there are books that overlap on our shelf, and Outpost was definitely one of those. He definitely also ate my Sugar Skull candy from that box.
Oh.
Which is fine. He likes sour gummies. I don't. And I enjoy that it's just usable stuff. Like, I like the surprise of what's going to be in a box. I like getting new coffee. I occasionally like getting new tea. And there's not a bunch of stuffy stuff that I'm going to end up either selling online or passing on to you or passing on to one of our mutual friends. The whole box is relevant to my life as an adult person in 2021.
Yes.
The other box I got from them, I think I'm saying her last name right, Charlie Hollenberg. She does the Paper Magician series. She came
Oh,
out with a new book. I think it's called Spell Weaver. I don't have it in front of me. That was a really solid box. I put it up on our Instagram in our stories a couple days ago. Um, but it was the book. It was a really pretty notebook that has a little pen holder and a pen. And really good tea. Like I might, because I know my mother-in-law likes Charlie Hollenberg. Like I got her hooked on the Paper Magician series. I might send my mother-in-law this box if they still have any in stock.
yeah.
I really like them. And so I think of the ones we've had that have overlapped, I think, and just in general for both of us, Caffeine and Legends has been a favorite.
Yeah. We also have a code.
So we sat down and we had this conversation. We're not just building them up to like pitch them. We really like them and we've had this conversation 3 or 4 times. So we reached out to them and we were like, we really like you guys. Can you offer our listeners a code? Because we want them to really like you too.
And they gave us one.
Yes.
And you're going to be very surprised at what it is. If you type in paper and vices, no spaces, you will get a discount.
Yep, I think it's 10%.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, which is not nothing. And they also sell, when they have it, they sell like artwork and one-off stuff. Like I know Lee has gotten some of their artwork and has it in her not office.
My not office closet.
Yes.
I'll post a picture of that because it's too cool to not post a picture of.
Yeah.
Tell us about. I want to hear about. I mean, we both have more book boxes coming. I'm most excited about Once Upon a Book Club because that is the one that has all the gifts that are in the box are wrapped and it has like a page number on it. And when you get to that page number, you're supposed to open the little
thing.
doodad. Yeah, the thing. But I'm really excited about that. But I want to hear about Librarian Box because...
So I've gotten one box from the Librarian Box so far. I'm signed up to get their monthly box. One cool thing about their monthly box is that when you sign up for it, you get invited to their VIP Facebook group, which is awesome. If you get their box every month, your first month, you get a charm and a bracelet. It's not a Pandora bracelet, but it's a Pandora style.
Mm-hmm.
And then as long as you remain a monthly subscriber, you get a new charm every month that corresponds to that month's theme.
No shit. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. And so I got the cool thing that they do, and the reason I looked at them when I was looking at smaller boxes, is that they will do custom boxes. And I know their wait list is pretty long now. When it opens back up, I am going to order either a Howl's Moving Castle box, because that is one of my favorite standalone novels. Like, I know there's another one in the world, but the novel itself and the story stands alone. Or a Kate Daniels box, specifically Magic Stars and Blood Heir, because that's the Julie Derrick story, and that's one of my OTPs. So, I ordered a Throne of Glass box when I started reading Throne of Glass, and I was just blown away by how much they put in this box for what I paid for it. Like, there was a candle and beautiful artwork and a sticker and a little notebook and a book and like the Throne of Glass book, and you can order it with or without the book. It was just, and a wine glass. I guess it was a stemless champagne flute. I don't know. It's getting wine put in it now. With one of the symbols from the book etched on it. Like, I was just really not just blown away by what they included, but the fact that like none of it was stuff from Alibaba. Like, they try every month to do something from a small business, something that's handmade, which you and I are both really into. And so I really appreciate that. And it's a smaller box, but you can tell a lot of thought goes into it. And in my opinion, I've gotten the Throne of Glass box specifically. They pay a lot of attention to the theme. So like if you get Owl Crate, I think I have like 6 items I've gotten from Owl Crates that are related to fandoms that I have nothing to do with and I have no interest in, which is fine because they're a bigger box. They have a bigger audience. They're just kind of throwing it out there and getting a catch-all. But yeah, this was really good, and they stick to the theming, and I was just really, really thrilled with the Throne of Glass box I got. So if you want like a one-off box, I would absolutely like say get a librarian box. Like if you are really into Sarah J. Maas, they do a really, really good job with those. And they had a special edition box for A Court of Silver Flames, and they sold out. And then they got more and they sold out again. So you're kind of out of luck on that. I'm sorry. I have one. I'll show you pictures. Well, I'm getting one. There were only 3 companies that did a Court of Silver Flames special edition box. One was from Australia, and I just couldn't stomach paying $120 by the time there was shipping. I just couldn't. Illumicrate is doing a mini box, which is dust jackets for the full series and a pin set and the book. And then I don't know what the hell is in the librarian box's Court of Silver Flame box, but I know that they have one, and I will let you know. But I'm going to do a blog about both that one and the Illumicrate one because I'm really excited for it.
Yay!
So we talked about this because almost every book box offers an affiliate. Or, you can request a code for a percentage off. So we reached out to Caffeine and Legends, and we reached out to the librarian box, and they both provided us with codes. The one for Caffeine and Legends is Paper and Vices, all one word. And for the librarian box, it's good through April 30th. It's a 5% discount, and it's Paper and Vices 5. So if you want to go get yourself a mini custom box, they have those. If you want to they have some past boxes up there. They have mystery boxes. They just have a really good assortment of things for different tastes and different budgets, which is nice.
Yes. Something for everyone.
I'm all about supporting that small business life.
Yes.
And so we both have a lot more book boxes coming. You'll probably hear about them on the podcast as our vices, and you'll see them on social. Mm-hmm. But we definitely wanted to do an episode talking about like basically the big 3, which are Lumicrate, Fairy Loot, and Owl Crate. I've also gotten like Shannon Mayer, who I love. She does a one-off book box for her books for her books every once in a while. I talked about it at the start. That's where I got the muscle rub from. She's probably gonna do one for another book this year, and I will absolutely be on that list. I've gotten the Bookworm box, which if you are into just the book or to author-specific swag, straight romance is great. What's cool about the Bookworm box is that they've donated over $1 million to charity because they donate to charity from every sale. And you can go on any of their social media and see what they're donating to.
Nice.
Yeah. And like the boxes we have coming that we will be talking about, I know I have a Bookish box coming and Book Bound and Literary Book Crate, which is quarterly from the UK. And then the monthly librarian box is coming because there's not enough people that review these smaller boxes, in my opinion.
No, like you said, it's mostly the main 3. Let's see here, and then I've got Once Upon a Book Club, and then the Magic box from Litjoy coming. Oh, I also have a special edition coming of Chain of Iron, from Cassandra Clare. That one's coming. I'm very excited about that.
Oh, that's right, you got that.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see it.
It's more of like a mini one because it's mainly just the artwork, and the special cover. But what is really cool about it is she writes a letter to you from one of the characters, which I thought was really cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one as well. But I'll divert attention to Cassandra Clare once Sarah J. Maas's book has been read.
I have a feeling that later this spring we're just going to have an episode where I just look at Lee and go, so, Cassandra Clare. And then I just sip coffee and occasionally go, It's
good times. Good times. Well, if you want to learn more about each of these boxes, we do have a pretty big article on our website. It's actually the ultimate guide to book boxes. So it is not complete yet. We'll be adding to it regularly as we get these boxes in. There's a couple reviews up there now, but please make sure to check those out. And if you have book boxes that you want us to specifically review, let us know.
Yeah, we are very open to suggestions, and we're really finding that we both prefer the smaller book boxes, or if you know of any that, like, Caffeine and Legends are more geared towards adult sci-fi and fantasy nerds, give them a shout out. We want to know. Oh, the other thing about Caffeine and Legends is they also occasionally have little Legends boxes for kids, and they're like $20 or less, which I love, because that's cheap for a book box. And they're
It's
very
cheap
cute.
for a book box. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, in the meantime, don't be an asshole, smoke a joint, and take care of yourself.
This has been a production of Paper and Vices, copyright 2021. This episode is presented for entertainment purposes only, and any vice should be pursued only within the legal boundaries, common sense, and personal responsibility of each person. Please check your local laws. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and guests only, and do not in any way represent the views of Paper and Vices LLC or any named persons, nor should they be considered personal, medical, or legal advice. Previous episodes and other commentary can be found at paperandvices.com.